I agreed to document the final week inside the crumbling Halcyon Towers, just one last job before the demolition crews arrived. But as the days blurred, I began hearing my own footsteps echoing from rooms I'd left behind, and seeing myself in windows that shouldn't have reflected anything at all. I'm recording this on my phone, propped against the dusty radiator. There's probably dust in the mic, I can't tell. The air in Halcyon Towers tastes like old sweat and carpet glue, but maybe that's just what I want to believe. I need to capture it all, for the historical society, or for myself, or so I can prove I didn't imagine what happened here. The first morning, light pours through the boarded-up lobby in thin, almost surgical lines. The walls peel in long curls, patterned with flowers that don't look quite real anymore. They ripple a little when I look away. I tell myself it's the drafts, nothing more. My job is simple. Catalog the last vestiges of life before the demolition. Mail slots, graffiti, even the odd junk drawer that no one claimed. The building is empty, or so the city says. But my skin prickles the way it did as a kid when my dad would pull the car over so I could throw up from nerves. I make my rounds, phone in hand, narrating cracked tiles and the faint hiss of old pipes. The sound of my own footsteps is comforting at first, echoing reliably off tile and linoleum. But then, early on, a strange rhythm starts, a second set, perfectly matched, but never quite in sync, like an echo too eager to catch up. I stop walking, silence, then a faint exhale, not mine, in time with my breath. I almost drop the phone. Drafts in the ductwork, I mutter, trying to laugh. The central mystery, what happened to the last tenants? The city files are vague: evacuation, structural risk, unsafe living conditions. But the mail slots are still full, some with letters dated just weeks ago. The elevator is stuck between floors with the doors half open as if someone forced them to escape. In the stairwell, a woman's shoe sits on the second step, just one. Blue, adult-sized. Who leaves that behind? I dreamed that night, if it was a dream, of walking the halls, hearing laughter through the walls. The wallpaper shifts in the dark, becoming a mass of faces pressed just beneath the surface. I wake sweating, and for a moment I'm certain I see movement in the corner. Just the reflection of the blinking smoke detector, I tell myself. But I don't sleep again. Day 2. I begin with Unit 606. The door is swollen in its frame but gives way under my shoulder. The air inside is thick, saturated with something chemical and sweet. I narrate for the camera, voice flat. The living room is orderly, but every mirror is turned to face the wall. The windows are smeared with greasy handprints, as if someone pressed their face to the glass, desperate to see out, or keep something from looking in. I hear breathing again, shallow and ragged, timed perfectly with mine. I spin, but there's nothing, just shadows stretching long in the late light. The sensation lingers, crawling down my spine. I find a notebook on the kitchen counter, pages filled with looping, frantic script that starts legibly and devolves into repeated phrases. I am not alone here. It knows when I look away. Don't trust the mirrors. I flip the notebook shut. My hand trembles, so I grip the edge of the counter until my knuckles whiten. I know better than to believe in ghosts. But the sound of breathing doubles, echoing in my ears, and for a second I catch my own reflection in the darkened microwave door, except it's not quite my face. The jaw is wrong. The eyes are too wide, too hungry. I blink, and it's gone. I review the footage that night. In some clips, behind my voice, there's a whisper, muffled syllables I can't make out. I increase the volume. The static resolves into a phrase. Don't leave. My hands shake as I try to rationalize it. Maybe I'm picking up a radio signal. Maybe it's pareidolia, seeing patterns that aren't there. But I can't shake the sense of being watched, not by one thing, but by 1,000 eyes just out of sight. I try leaving just for a coffee, but the front doors won't budge. My keycard isn't recognized. The digital clock in the lobby blinks 3:13 over and over. I return upstairs to find the door to 606 ajar, though I locked it. The wallpaper in the main corridor is different, now a geometric pattern, sharp and dizzying. I take a photo for the record. In the image, the pattern writhes, forming faces. I check the wall again. Just flowers. I'm not sleeping much now, and the line between dream and waking blurs. The next day, I wake to a pounding headache. My camera app is open, running all night. Hundreds of photos fill my gallery, close-ups of my own sleeping face, taken from the foot of my mattress. I hear footsteps pacing the hallway outside, matching my heartbeat. I call out, voice cracking, but there's no answer. The footsteps stop only when I hold my breath. I try again. One breath, one step, and it mirrors me exactly like a cruel dance. I dig through city records in the lobby office, desperate for answers. I find a yellowing folder labeled 1997. Evacuation orders, resident complaints. The complaints repeat. People reporting their own voices coming from other units, seeing themselves through peepholes, dreams of being trapped in endless looping hallways. No mention of hauntings, but a growing panic. A handwritten note is taped to the last report. Group hysteria escalating, recommend complete evacuation. False resolution. I decide to spend the night in the lobby, lights on, camera rolling. Nothing happens for hours. My heart rate finally slows. Maybe it's just mold or bad wiring affecting my mind. As I drift off, I dream of walking the halls with a crowd behind me, faces I almost recognize. Their whispers fill my ears. Stay with us, stay with us. I jolt awake to find the lobby transformed. The floral wallpaper is now a shifting mass, every pattern an unreadable face, eyes wide and accusing. The windows reflect not the street outside, but endless corridors behind me. I see myself dozens of times over, each reflection a split second out of sync. As I move, they move with me, some smiling, some crying, all watching. Major revelation. Reviewing the oldest footage I've found, security tapes from the 90s, I see residents wandering the halls, filming themselves, talking to their own reflections. On the last tape, the camera holder, my own face, impossibly whispers, "We are here. We remember." It clicks. The monster isn't a ghost, but the collective panic of everyone who ever lived here. Their fear, their madness has become a thing with eyes and voices, a mass consciousness, a contagious breakdown. It waits in the spaces between rooms, in the silent hours, growing stronger with every new resident who doubts, isolates, and finally gives in. I try to film myself leaving, but the exits never seem to lead outside. The same hallway loops back toward 606, and each time I pass a dark window I see more of myself. Smiling, terrified, resigned. My own voice joins the chorus. Stay with us. In the end, I smash my phone and hurl the pieces through the glass. The screen flickers one last time, showing dozens of faces pressed against the inside, mouths open in silent screams. Something gives. The front door. Or maybe just my resolve. I stagger out as the demolition crew arrives. They see me wild-eyed and shaking, babbling about mirrors and voices. They pat my shoulders, tell me to get some sleep, assure me no one's been in the building for years. But as I walk away, I hear synchronized footsteps, my own, echoed in perfect time by 100 invisible pairs. Now, every reflective surface shows a little too much. I see movement in the corner of my eye, faces behind my own. The cost, I'm never alone again. And Halcyon Towers in the final footage stands empty, except for the flicker of movement in every window, waiting for the next skeptic to come inside.